First Contact Protocol. The massive warship Devourer of Worlds emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system, its crystalline hull reflecting starlight like a cosmic predator stalking primitive prey. Commander Craxus stood on the bridge, all four of his muscular arms crossed in confusion as he observed the tactical display. "This cannot be accurate," he growled, his chitinous plates clicking with irritation. "Lieutenant Vex, run the scans again." The younger Xenoxian officer manipulated the neural interface with practiced efficiency. "Scans confirmed, Commander. Earth's defensive capabilities are limited to basic orbital satellites and a handful of space stations. Their military vessels appear to be chemical propulsion-based." Craxus' mandibles spread in what passed for a smile among his species. The Xenox Imperium had conquered 1,000 worlds, each more advanced than this blue marble floating before them. Earth would be child's play, a mere footnote in their empire's expansion. "Prepare the fleet for standard subjugation protocols," he ordered, settling into his command throne. "We'll give them the usual ultimatum: surrender or face annihilation." "Commander," Vex interrupted, his voice uncertain, "we're receiving a transmission." "Impossible. Our stealth field should prevent detection at this range." Yet the main view screen flickered to life, revealing a human female with dark hair pulled back into a neat bun. Her expression was pleasant, almost welcoming, which only served to unsettle Craxus further. "Greetings, Commander Craxus of the Xenox Imperium's Third Conquest Fleet," she said in perfect Xenoxian. "I am Ambassador Sarah Chen, representing the United Earth Government. We've been expecting you." The bridge fell silent. No species had ever detected a Xenox stealth approach, let alone identified specific commanders and fleet designations. Craxus felt his plates tighten involuntarily, a defensive response he hadn't experienced in centuries. "How do you know our language?" he demanded, abandoning pretense. Ambassador Chen's smile remained unchanged. "We've had considerable time to study your empire. Your conquests tend to follow predictable patterns." "Then you know why we're here," Craxus snarled. "Surrender now, and we might spare your population from total extermination." "We appreciate your directness," Chen replied. "However, Earth respectfully declines your generous offer. We prefer to remain independent." Craxus laughed, the sound echoing through the bridge like grinding metal. "You misunderstand, Ambassador. This isn't a negotiation. Your planet lacks the technology to resist us. Look at your pathetic defenses." "Appearances can be deceiving, Commander," Chen said softly. "Earth has survived for billions of years, weathering cosmic catastrophes and internal strife. We've learned that true strength often lies in restraint, not display." As she spoke, Craxus noticed subtle changes on his tactical display. Previously empty regions of space suddenly showed energy signatures, hundreds of them, materializing as if from nowhere. "What sorcery is this?" he hissed. "Not sorcery, Commander. Simply technology you don't understand," Chen explained. "Those are our actual defense platforms. We keep them phased out of normal spacetime until needed. It tends to discourage hasty decisions." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. No known civilization possessed phase-shifting technology, advanced enough to hide entire defense networks. The implications were disturbing. "You're bluffing," Craxus declared, though uncertainty crept into his voice. "Our scanners would have detected any hidden installations." "Your scanners detect what we allow them to detect," Chen replied. "Earth has been monitoring galactic affairs for far longer than you might imagine. We've observed your empire's expansion with interest." The tactical officer suddenly stiffened. "Commander, we're detecting massive energy buildups throughout the solar system. These readings, they're off our scale." Craxus studied the data with growing alarm. The energy signatures suggested weapons systems orders of magnitude beyond anything in the Xenox arsenal. Yet the humans hadn't fired a single shot, hadn't even raised shields on their visible installations. "Why haven't you attacked?" he asked, genuinely puzzled. "You clearly possess superior technology." Why allow us to approach at all? Ambassador Chen's expression softened slightly. Because we're not conquerors, Commander. Earth believes in peaceful coexistence. We've watched countless civilizations rise and fall, learning from each. Violence is always our last resort. Then you're fools. Kraxus spat. The galaxy respects only strength. There are different kinds of strength, Chen countered. The strength to destroy is simple. The strength to create, to preserve, to show mercy. These are far more challenging. A new voice interrupted their exchange. Commander, we're receiving priority communications from the Imperial Council. They're ordering immediate withdrawal from Earth's system. Kraxus turned sharply. What? Why? They'd received historical files. Vex reported, confusion evident in his voice. Apparently, Earth has been visited by conquest fleets before. None ever returned. Impossible. There's no record of previous Xenox expeditions to this sector. Not Xenox fleets, Commander, Chen interjected. Others. The Dravaxian Empire, the Krell Dominion, the Vorath Collective. All attempted what you're considering. Earth defended itself, but we also ensured no records of those encounters reached the wider galaxy. Why? Kraxus demanded. Why hide your true capabilities? Because we hoped others would learn from observation rather than experience, Chen sighed. We've maintained the illusion of a primitive world to avoid attracting unnecessary attention. Unfortunately, some species only understand direct lessons. The bridge fell silent as Kraxus processed this information. Everything he thought he knew about Earth was wrong. The primitive world before him was actually an ancient civilization with technology beyond comprehension, choosing to appear weak rather than flaunt its power. What happens now? He asked finally. That depends on you, Commander, Chen replied. Earth extends an offer of peaceful relations to all species. We're willing to forget this incident, maintain our facade, and allow the Xenox Imperium to save face. Or, she didn't need to finish the sentence. The implied threat hung in the air like a physical presence. Kraxus studied the tactical display again. The hidden defense platforms remained powered, but hadn't locked weapons. The humans were still offering a choice, even now. It was a level of restraint he'd never encountered in a superior force. The Imperial Council has authorized full withdrawal, Vex reported quietly. They're also requesting formal diplomatic relations with Earth. Kraxus nodded slowly, his warrior's pride warring with newfound respect. Ambassador Chen, on behalf of the Xenox Imperium, I accept your offer of peaceful relations. Chen's smile finally reached her eyes. Excellent choice, Commander. Welcome to the true galactic community. We have much to discuss. As the Xenox fleet began its withdrawal, Kraxus couldn't shake the feeling that he'd just witnessed something profound. Earth hadn't just demonstrated superior technology. They'd shown a different way of thinking about power itself. The most dangerous species in the galaxy, it seemed, were the ones who chose not to be. The polite deception. The Luna diplomatic station floated serenely above Earth's moon, its crystalline structure a masterpiece of architectural deception. To casual observers, it appeared to be a simple conference center, but Commander Kraxus now knew better. Every surface, every seemingly decorative element, likely concealed technology beyond his comprehension. Ambassador Sarah Chen greeted him in the main atrium, her diplomatic uniform crisp and unadorned. Behind her stood a diverse group of humans, each representing different aspects of Earth's government. Commander Kraxus, welcome to Luna Station, Chen said warmly. I trust your journey was comfortable. More comfortable than our last encounter, Kraxus admitted, his mandibles clicking in what he hoped was a friendly gesture. Though I suspect this station is as deceptive as everything else about your species. Chen's laugh was genuine. Perceptive as always. Yes, Luna Station serves multiple purposes. Shall we begin the tour? As they walked through gleaming corridors, Kraxus noticed subtle details that had escaped his initial scan. The walls seemed to shift slightly, adapting to the occupants' biological needs. The air composition changed imperceptibly as they moved, optimizing for each species' respiratory requirements. "How long have you been watching us?" Craxus asked bluntly. "The Xenox Imperium, specifically." "About 800 of your years," Chen replied casually, "though we've been monitoring galactic civilization for much longer." The number staggered him. 8 centuries of observation, and they'd never suspected. "Why didn't you intervene when we conquered other worlds?" "Would you have listened?" Chen countered. "Sometimes species need to learn through experience. We intervene only when extinction-level events threaten peaceful civilizations." They entered a vast chamber where holographic displays showed real-time data from across the galaxy. Craxus recognized trade routes, military deployments, and political boundaries, but the level of detail far exceeded anything in Xenox databases. "This is our Situational Awareness Center," explained Dr. James Morrison, head of Earth's Xenological Studies Division. "We track approximately 1.2 million spacefaring civilizations, though only about 200,000 are currently active in interstellar politics." 1.2 million. Craxus felt his plates constrict. The Galactic Registry lists fewer than 50,000. The registry only includes species that choose to participate. Morrison smiled. "Many prefer isolation. Others, like us, maintain a low profile." As they continued the tour, Craxus began to understand the true scope of humanity's capabilities. Their medical technology could cure diseases that plagued entire sectors. Their energy systems operated on principles that violated known physics. Their computational networks processed information at speeds that made quantum computers look primitive. "Why hide all this?" he asked, genuinely bewildered. "With such power, you could rule the galaxy." "Could we?" Chen mused. "Or would we simply become another empire, eventually falling to the same forces that doom all conquerors?" History teaches that sustainable civilizations focus on growth, not domination. They entered a smaller conference room where refreshments waited, including Craxus's favorite Xenoxian nectar, perfectly synthesized. "Let's discuss the real reason for your visit," Chen said, settling into a chair that automatically adjusted to her form. "Your empire is facing resource shortages, correct?" Craxus's plates rattled in surprise. "How could you possibly know that?" "It's classified at the highest levels. Your expansion pattern changed 18 months ago," Dr. Morrison explained, calling up holographic charts. "You began targeting systems with specific mineral compositions rather than strategic locations. Classic resource depletion behavior." The human's matter-of-fact analysis of his empire's deepest secrets unnerved Craxus. "Yes," he admitted finally. "Our core worlds are experiencing critical shortages. That's why Earth appeared so attractive. Your planet's resources seemed abundant and undefended." "They are abundant," Chen agreed, "but not undefended. However, we might have a solution to your problem." She gestured, and the holographic display shifted to show complex molecular structures. "This is a matter restructuring process we developed about 3 centuries ago. It allows conversion of common elements into rarer ones with minimal energy expenditure." Craxus studied the data in disbelief. Matter conversion was theoretically possible, but required energy levels that made it impractical. The human process seemed to bypass those limitations entirely. "You would share this technology?" he asked suspiciously. "Under certain conditions," Chen replied. "Earth believes in mutual benefit. We'll provide the technology if the Xenox Imperium agrees to cease expansionist policies and redirect military resources toward internal development." "The Imperial Council would never accept such terms." "They already have," said a new voice. Craxus turned to see High Counselor Zen entering the room, her ceremonial robes swishing. "The Council has been in communication with Earth since your first encounter. We've agreed to their terms." Craxus felt his world tilting. His own government had negotiated behind his back. "High Counselor, with respect, this undermines our entire military structure." "Our military structure was leading us to extinction," Zen replied firmly. "Earth's offer provides a path to survival without conquest." Sometimes, Commander, the bravest action is to change course. The discussion continued for hours, revealing layer after layer of humanity's patient diplomacy. They'd been subtly influencing galactic politics for millennia, preventing wars through economic incentives, sharing just enough technology to stabilize struggling civilizations, all while maintaining the facade of a primitive world. We call it the Shepherd Protocol, Chen explained. Guide from behind, intervene minimally, allow species to develop naturally. It's not perfect, but it's sustained relative peace in our sector for thousands of years. As the meeting concluded, Craxus found himself reassessing everything he thought he knew about power and civilization. The humans hadn't just outsmarted the Xenox Imperium. They'd been playing a game so complex that others didn't even realize they were pieces on the board. One final question, he said as they prepared to depart. What would have happened if we attacked anyway? Chen's expression turned serious. The defense platforms you detected were our politest warning. If you proceeded, you would have encountered our secondary systems. No Xenox ship would have left the solar system. And if we'd somehow breached those defenses, then you would have met our primary defensive measures, she said quietly. And the Xenox Imperium would have become a cautionary tale for future species like the others before you. Craxus shuddered, grateful for the path they'd chosen. As his shuttle departed Luna Station, he watched Earth receding in the viewport, still appearing primitive and vulnerable to uninformed eyes. The greatest deception, he realized, was not in hiding strength, but in the patience to use it wisely. When patience ends, 3 months after the Xenox diplomatic accord, Earth's careful masquerade faced its greatest test. The hegemony of VAR, an alliance of 12 militant species, arrived at the solar system's edge with a fleet that dwarfed anything previously seen in the sector. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood in Earth's strategic command center, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, watching the tactical displays with growing concern. Unlike the Xenox, the VAR had no interest in negotiation. They'd observed the Xenox retreat and drawn their own conclusions about Earth's capabilities. They think we're bluffing, General Marcus Wade observed, his weathered face grim. The Xenox withdrawal looked like successful intimidation, not genuine power. Perhaps it's time to end the charade, suggested Dr. Elena Kovac, head of Advanced Defense Systems. We've maintained the facade for millennia. Maybe the galaxy needs to see what we truly are. Chen shook her head. Once that knowledge spreads, everything changes. We'll never have peace again. The main screen flickered as High Admiral Korthax of the VAR appeared, his scaled face twisted in contempt. Humans of Earth, your deception ends now. We've analyzed your encounter with the Xenox. Clever. Psychology, but we are not so easily fooled. Surrender immediately or face annihilation. High Admiral, Chen responded calmly. We strongly advise you to reconsider. Earth desires peace, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. Korthax's laugh was harsh. Defend yourselves. With what? Hidden platforms that conveniently appear. Energy signatures that mysteriously spike. We've seen through your tricks. Our psi-sensitives detected no actual weapons, only elaborate illusions. The VAR fleet began advancing, their formation tight and aggressive. 300 capital ships, each capable of planetary bombardment, moved toward Earth with deadly purpose. Ambassador, General Wade said quietly, we're running out of options. Chen nodded reluctantly. Activate Protocol Omega. Show them the first layer. Across the solar system, humanity's true defense grid powered up. Not the platforms the Xenox had detected, but the real system, quantum-entangled weapons that existed partially outside normal spacetime, gravity wave generators that could tear ships apart at the atomic level, and antimatter projectors that made fusion weapons look like firecrackers. Korthax's confidence visibly wavered as his sensors registered the power levels. Impossible, he muttered. These readings, they violate fundamental physics. High Admiral, Chen tried once more. Please stand down. We don't want to hurt you. You're still bluffing. Korthax snarled, though fear crept into his voice. All ships, advance. Target their population centers. What followed became known in galactic history as the 3 Minutes War. At exactly 1422 Earth Standard Time, humanity's defense grid activated fully. Quantum weapons phased into reality, targeting every varship simultaneously. Gravity waves rippled through space, precisely calibrated to disable rather than destroy. Antimatter containment fields surrounded the enemy fleet, creating an impenetrable barrier. In exactly 3 minutes, 300 VAR warships were rendered completely helpless, their weapon systems fuse, their engines dead, their crews unharmed but trapped in powerless hulks. The precision was surgical, the power overwhelming, and the message unmistakable. High Admiral Korthax. Chen's voice cut through the shocked silence on the VAR flagship. Your fleet is disabled but intact. Your crews are alive. This was a demonstration of restraint, not weakness. Do you understand now? Korthax stared at his dead consoles in disbelief. How? He whispered. No civilization has this power. It's impossible. We've had a very long time to develop, Chen replied. Earth is older than most galactic civilizations realize. We learned to harness forces you haven't discovered yet, but we chose to hide this power, to live quietly, to guide rather than rule. Why show us now? Korthax asked, defeat evident in his posture. Because sometimes, Chen said sadly, patience must end. We gave you every opportunity to choose peace. You forced our hand. The aftermath rippled across the galaxy like a shockwave. Emergency sessions convened in every major alliance. Intelligence agencies scrambled to reassess everything they thought they knew about Earth. Within days, representatives from hundreds of civilizations requested audiences with Earth's government. The Galactic Council itself petitioned for an emergency summit. In a historic address broadcast across known space, Secretary General Amara Okonkwo explained Earth's position. For millennia, we've watched and guided from the shadows, intervening only when absolutely necessary. We developed technologies that could reshape reality itself, but chose restraint over dominance. We believed the galaxy would be safer if our true capabilities remained hidden. She paused, her gaze steady. Recent events have forced us to reconsider. Earth will no longer hide its strength, but neither will we use it for conquest. We offer ourselves as guardians, not rulers. Our technologies will be shared gradually, as civilizations demonstrate they can use them responsibly. The galaxy's power structure transformed overnight. Wars ended as species realized the futility of conflict under Earth's watchful eye. Trade flourished as humanity shared basic versions of their matter conversion technology. Scientific advancement accelerated as Earth's universities opened their doors to alien students. Commander Kraxus, now serving as the Xenox ambassador to Earth, met with Sarah Chen on the anniversary of their first encounter. You knew this day would come, he said, watching Earth's true orbital defenses shimmer in the sunlight, no longer hidden, but still incomprehensibly advanced. We hoped it wouldn't, Chen admitted. But yes, we prepared for it. The hardest part wasn't developing the technology. It was having the wisdom not to use it. And now we enter a new era, she smiled. Earth takes its place as an elder civilization, guiding openly and instead of from shadows. It's not the path we preferred, but perhaps it's the one the galaxy needs. As they watched ships from 100 worlds dock at Earth's expanded orbital facilities, Kraxus reflected on the journey that brought them here. The greatest power, he'd learned, lay not in the ability to destroy, but in the choice to preserve, protect, and nurture. Earth had been patient for millennia. Now, with patience ended, they would shape the galaxy's future not through force, but through example. The age of hidden strength was over. The age of wisdom had begun.